I still remember the way he laughed at my uniform, like my job made me less than him. I was just a gate agent, and he was, well, arrogant. But life has a funny way of flipping the script. That flight didn't just change my day, it changed my life forever. If you've ever been judged for where you work or how you look, this story is for you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay till the end. Because trust me, what starts with a laugh ends with a love story you won't believe. Some people wake up dreading their jobs, but not me. I loved my mornings at the airport. There's something about the energy of a terminal coming to life. The rolling suitcases, the boarding calls, the scent of strong coffee floating through the air. It felt like the heartbeat of movement. Every day, I got to watch people take off to new places, some chasing dreams, some chasing love, others just trying to escape something. And me? I was right there at the gate, smiling, scanning tickets, making sure everything ran smoothly. Most folks don't give people like me a second thought. We're just the background of their journey, the uniformed face they barely glance at while scrolling their phones. But that never stopped me from giving my best. There's a quiet kind of pride in what I do. You see, being a gate agent isn't glamorous. It's standing on your feet for hours, dealing with delayed flights, crying toddlers, and passengers who think yelling will make the plane move faster. But there's also beauty in it. I've seen long-lost family members reunite in tears. I've helped nervous first-time flyers find their gate. I've calmed anxious travelers who just needed a kind word. That meant something to me. Still, it hurts, more than I'd like to admit, when someone talks down to me like I'm invisible, like I'm less. There's this look people give sometimes, like they've sized you up in 2 seconds and decided you're nobody. I'd smile anyway, but inside I'd feel that sting. I wasn't ashamed of my job, not ever, but I'd be lying if I said it didn't make me wish people could see past the uniform. Because behind the badge, the smile, the shift schedule, was a woman with dreams too. And on that particular morning, I had no idea how fast mine were about to take flight. He stood out the second I saw him. Tall, sharp suit, designer luggage, phone in one hand, coffee in the other, barking orders to someone through his AirPods like he owned the entire airport. You know the type. Money practically dripping off him, with a face that knew it. I scanned his boarding pass, gave my usual warm smile, and said, "Have a good flight, sir." He barely looked at me. Then, just loud enough for me to hear, he chuckled and said to the person on the phone, "Imagine working at the airport your whole life, wild, like I wasn't even there." It was one of those moments where time slows down for a second. I didn't say anything. I mean, what was I supposed to say? Argue with a passenger? Get myself written up? Number? I just swallowed it, held my head high, and kept moving. But it stung, not because I cared what he thought of me, but because it reminded me of how often people like him look at people like me and see nothing. Like I'm invisible, just a cog in their machine. It made me think about all the times I'd been overlooked, underestimated, judged just because of where I stood in that airport. I tried to brush it off, keep my professionalism intact. I even laughed a little to myself. Whatever, girl. You've dealt with worse. But deep down, that comment stuck. It clung to me like static. Still, I reminded myself, I'm more than this uniform, more than this moment. What I didn't know was that fate was about to flip the script on both of us. Because the same man who mocked my job, he wasn't flying anywhere just yet. His flight had just been delayed, and he was stuck at my gate for hours. I swear, sometimes the universe has a sense of humor. Not even 10 minutes after he walked away with his smug little smirk, an announcement came through my earpiece. Mechanical issue. His flight was delayed by hours. I looked up and guess who was walking back toward my gate? clearly annoyed and now stuck with me. At first, I'll be honest, I felt a little smug myself. Karma moves fast, I thought. He found a seat not far from the gate, still on his phone, pacing, frustrated. But after a while, I started to feel awkward. I had to keep doing my job, checking with the crew, updating the monitors, announcing gate changes. But now I could feel his eyes on me, not in a creepy way, more like curious. He was quieter this time. No arrogant swagger, no loud phone calls. Just sitting, watching people, watching me. Eventually, he came up to the desk again, not to complain, surprisingly, but to ask for an update. I gave him the usual polite rundown. He nodded, then paused, looked me in the eyes. "Long day, huh?" he said. It caught me off guard. I didn't know if he was being sarcastic or real, but I nodded and said, "Comes with the job." He looked like he wanted to say more, but instead just gave a tight smile and walked back to his seat. The tension between us had shifted. I could feel it. The silence didn't feel hostile anymore, just unsettled. Like maybe, just maybe, he was realizing he'd misjudged me. Or maybe he was bored. Who knows? But one thing was clear. This delay wasn't just holding up a plane. It was holding open a door. And neither of us knew it yet. But we were about to step through it. A little while later, the airport quieted down. The usual buzz was replaced by a calm I hadn't felt all day. He came back again, this time without the usual attitude. He seemed different, like the delay was forcing him to slow down and see things he hadn't noticed before. He leaned on the counter and said, "Look, I was rude earlier. I didn't mean to disrespect your job." I blinked, surprised. "Thanks," I said cautiously, not sure if he was just saying it to smooth things over. He shrugged, scratching the back of his neck awkwardly. "I guess I just thought your job wasn't impressive." That caught me off guard. "What's impressive?" I asked. He hesitated. "I don't know. I guess I always thought success was about money, status, the flashy stuff." I smiled softly, trying not to roll my eyes. "It's not for me." I told him about how I was juggling school, working this job, and dreaming of something bigger, how my family counted on me, how I loved what I do, even when it's hard. I didn't want his pity or his approval, I just wanted him to understand. He listened, really listened. It was the first time someone like him had done that, and then he surprised me. "You're way more impressive than I thought." It felt weird, good weird. Like for the first time, I wasn't just a uniform to him. I was a person, someone with hopes, fears, and strength. That moment broke something between us. The walls started to come down. And honestly, I was curious to see where this could go, because sometimes the best stories start with the ones you never expect. As the minutes ticked by, I couldn't help but notice how different he seemed now. Less the arrogant passenger and more, well, someone genuinely interested. We kept talking, and the conversation started to flow naturally, like two people who'd known each other longer than a couple of delayed hours. Then, just as his flight was finally called for boarding, he surprised me by saying, "Hey, I know this sounds crazy, but would you like to grab coffee sometime? No uniforms, no flights, just us." I blinked, a little caught off guard. Did he really just ask me out? I hesitated, my mind racing. What would my friends say? Would this guy really want to know me, the girl who scans tickets and calls boarding announcements? But then I caught the sincerity in his eyes, and I realized I didn't have to overthink it. So, with a smile, I said, "Yeah, sure, I'd like that." He pulled out his phone and handed it to me. I typed in my number, feeling a spark I hadn't felt in a long time. As he walked away toward the gate, I watched him go, wondering if this was real or just a moment of kindness from someone trapped in an airport like me. Maybe he'd forget me the second he stepped on that plane. But deep down, something told me this wasn't the end. Sometimes life's best surprises come when you least expect them, like an unexpected coffee date after a flight delay. And just like that, a little spark had been lit, one that would soon change everything I thought I knew about love, life, and myself. Days passed, and honestly, I tried not to get my hopes up. I kept busy with work and school, telling myself it was just a nice moment, nothing more. You know how it goes. Sometimes people are polite, but they don't really follow through. Then, one evening, my phone buzzed. I glanced down and saw his name flashing on the screen. Hey, it's airport guy. Still want that coffee? My heart skipped. Was this really happening? I took a deep breath and replied, Yeah, I do. We picked a cozy little cafe nearby, nothing fancy. When I saw him walk in, it was like I was meeting someone new, more relaxed, less guarded. He smiled that same shy, genuine smile, and I realized how little I actually knew about him. Over coffee, we talked about everything, from silly airport stories to dreams and fears. He told me about his work as a tech CEO, how hectic life could get, and how rarely he found moments like this, simple, real, and unfiltered. I shared my struggles juggling work and school, the pressure to prove myself, and how sometimes it felt like I was invisible outside that uniform. But in that moment, none of it mattered. We were just two people connecting, peeling back layers and seeing each other for who we really were. When the date ended, he walked me to my car. He asked if he could see me again. I smiled and said yes. I couldn't believe it. The guy who mocked my job was now someone who saw me, really saw me. Was this real? I wasn't sure. But I was ready to find out. Dating him felt like stepping into a whole new world, a world I never thought I'd belong to. When people hear billionaire, they picture fancy cars, expensive dinners, and red carpets. And yeah, some of that was true. But what I quickly learned was that behind all the glamour, he was just human, vulnerable, messy, real. At first, I was intimidated. I mean, here I was, just a girl working at the airport, juggling school and bills. And there he was, CEO of a tech empire. It felt like we came from two different planets. But what surprised me the most was how much he wanted to learn from me about my world, my struggles, my values. He told me money could buy a lot, but it couldn't buy strength or authenticity. And I saw how much he admired those qualities in me. Sometimes we'd clash because our lives were so different, but those moments only made us stronger. He challenged me to dream bigger, and I challenged him to stay grounded. I never wanted to be just the girlfriend of a billionaire. I was determined to keep my identity, my independence. I kept working, building my side hustle, pushing toward my goals. He supported me every step of the way, but never tried to change who I was. Being with him didn't change my core, it amplified it. And with every date, every conversation, every late night call, I realized that love wasn't about money or status. It was about respect, growth, and truly seeing each other. This billionaire love wasn't a fairy tale. It was real, messy, beautiful, and ours. Being with him changed my world in ways I never imagined. Suddenly, I was invited to places I never thought I'd go, exclusive events, fancy dinners, even trips abroad. But through it all, I made one promise to myself. I wouldn't lose who I was. I still woke up early for my shifts at the airport. I still studied late into the night for my classes. I kept working my side hustle because my dreams weren't just about love or money. They were about proving to myself that I could build something from nothing. He never made me feel like I had to choose between him and my independence. In fact, he encouraged it. He'd say things like, Your strength is what made me want to be with you in the first place. That meant the world to me. There were tough days, too. Days when balancing everything felt impossible. When the pressure to fit in with his world weighed heavy. But I always reminded myself my worth isn't tied to a title, a bank account, or the name of the guy I'm with. It's in my heart, my hustle, and my spirit. And that's the message I want to share. No matter how your life changes, never forget where you come from and who you are. Love can open doors, yes, but it shouldn't ever make you lose yourself. This journey showed me that true love lifts you up without asking you to leave your dreams behind. And that's the kind of love I want every woman to believe is possible. Because in the end, the most powerful thing I ever did was stay true to me. The day he proposed wasn't some grand Hollywood moment. It was quiet, intimate, and exactly how I wanted it. He took me back to the airport gate where we first met, the place where he mocked my job and where everything began. It felt full circle, like the universe was giving me the perfect ending to a story I never expected to live. We stood there, surrounded by the buzz of travelers and the hum of airplanes preparing to take off. He looked at me, really looked at me, and said, I want to spend the rest of my life with the woman who taught me what real strength and love look like. I couldn't hold back the tears. It wasn't just about the ring or the promise. It was about how far we'd come, from a stranger mocking my job to the man who respected every part of who I am. In that moment, I felt proud, not just of him or the life we were building, but proud of myself. Proud of every early morning, every tired night, every time I chose to believe in my worth. The uniform I wore that day, it wasn't just a uniform anymore. It was a symbol of resilience, growth, and the start of something beautiful. Saying yes wasn't just about love. It was about honoring my journey and knowing that no matter where life takes me, I'll never forget where I started. Because sometimes the place that seems like the smallest part of your story turns out to be the most important chapter of all. Looking back, I realize how much those words, the ones he threw at me that day, could have held me back if I'd let them. Working at the airport? That's nothing. But I didn't let that define me. I didn't let anyone else's judgment shape my story. I want you to know this, especially if you've ever been made to feel small or invisible because of your job, your background, or where you're from. Your worth isn't tied to a title or a paycheck. It's tied to your heart, your dreams, and your courage to keep going. I'm proof that love doesn't care about your uniform. It cares about your soul. And success? It's not about how much money you have. It's about how much you believe in yourself, even when the world doubts you. If someone mocks your journey, smile and keep moving forward, because the person who laughs first often ends up laughing last. Sometimes the very people who doubt you are the ones who'll be surprised to see you rise. So hold your head high. Be proud of every step you take. Keep working, keep dreaming, and never forget, your story is worth telling. And if you like this story, please like the video. Subscribe for more real, inspiring stories and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Remember, your future is waiting, and it's brighter than you think. Just keep flying. If someone's ever made you feel small, remember they don't know your whole story. Keep showing up, keep growing, and who knows, maybe love and success are just one flight away. Like, comment your favorite part and don't forget to subscribe for more real love stories. Flight Love.